After Kevin and I were reborn together, we tacitly pretended that we didn't know each other. He followed the class beauty to go to college in another city, and I stayed in the city. He quickly became a new elite in the industry with the experience of living an extra life, and got married to a beautiful woman, and enjoyed unlimited glory. I stayed with my parents and settled down in my hometown. We met again at a class reunion 10 years later. He hugged the school beauty, smoked a cigar, looked at me in plain clothes, and said sarcastically, "In the past 10 years, you have been like this?" I was indifferent. Until the late business boss hugged me in his arms. "Sorry, my wife is pregnant, I hope everyone will not smoke indoors." Kevin, who has always been reserved and calm, panicked visibly. He finally realized that I was not angry with him after so many years of separation. Kevin and I met again at a class reunion 10 years later. I pushed open the door of the private room and heard someone inside teasing, "Kevin, you are really good, you got the class beauty." Nonsense, don't you see how well Kevin is doing in the big city now? How can we, the common people, compare with Boss Song? But I heard that you and Sunny were rumored to be having an affair back then? You two often study together, and everyone in the class said you were a couple. At that moment, I heard a familiar voice casually said, "Just study partners, don't take it seriously." I smiled indifferently. It's been 10 years since I was reborn, so naturally I don't have any emotions anymore. So I pushed the door open calmly. Even though I haven't seen him for 10 years, I still recognized Kevin at a glance. He was sitting on the sofa, smoking a cigar, and Lydia, the class beauty, was leaning in his arms. All the classmates in the class gathered around them. The two of them were like stars surrounding the moon. The moment I appeared, everyone's eyes looked over. The monitor said enthusiastically, "Oh, if you mention the devil, he will appear. Sunny, look who is here." Kevin and I looked at each other. He hugged Lydia, looked at me with a frivolous look, and a trace of disdain flashed in his eyes. I was dressed simply today. I didn't put on any makeup because I was pregnant. I looked a little dusty. No comparison with Lydia. She was wearing a Chanel dress, carrying an Hermes bag, and her exquisite makeup made her look like she was well preserved. I greeted them generously, "Long time no see." Kevin nodded slightly, very indifferent. Lydia just smiled. I didn't try to please them, and turned to chat with a few familiar classmates. Leo is the only one missing. The class monitor suddenly said, "He just sent a message saying that the plane was delayed and that we don't have to wait for him." All the classmates sat around the dining table. They all took the initiative to toast Kevin and praised him highly. After 3 rounds of drinks, I went to the bathroom. As soon as I came out, I ran into Kevin, whose face was red from the alcohol. He sarcastically said, "Sunny, you have become like this in the past 10 years since you left me?" I was indifferent. I just suddenly remembered what happened before we were reborn. Before rebirth, Kevin and I had a fierce quarrel on the highway. The reason was that after graduating from college, I accompanied Kevin to the big city and worked hard together for a full 10 years. Now that my career has achieved some success, I want to go back to my hometown. I am an only child. My father died last year because he had a cerebral hemorrhage and was not sent to the doctor in time. My mother was the only one left at home, and I was worried. Kevin also promised me that he would go back when he made a certain amount of money. But now he keeps delaying, saying that his hometown has no future and it is not worth going back. He told me clearly that he would not go back in the future. At worst, he would bring my mother here to raise her. But my mother has been here for a long time. She is not used to this city and has no relatives or friends around her. Not to mention my mother, I have not felt a sense of belonging in this city for so many years. I finally couldn't help but get angry at him. "If you don't go back, I will go back by myself." "Do you have to force me like this?" Kevin asked me, "What's wrong with staying in the city? Do you want to be a country bumpkin for the rest of your life? When our child is born, will you lose at the starting line?" I am now 5 months pregnant. It is also because of my pregnancy that I want to go back even more. I know how difficult it is to leave a city once a child is born. Besides, my hometown is not bad. Although it is not an international first-tier city, it is also as bad as the first-tier cities. According to you, people who stay in small cities are useless? Only useless people are willing to live in small cities. No ambition. Kevin looked disdainful. "I despise this kind of person the most." "In your mind, I am such a person, right?" I sneered. "I don't want you to become such a person," Kevin said righteously. He then said suddenly, "If I had known earlier, I shouldn't have chosen to stay in my hometown with you. It delayed my life for 4 years. I should have come here with Lydia to work hard earlier." Before graduating from high school, Lydia confessed to him, but he refused. He and I have been study partners for 3 years and have long fallen in love. But since he accompanied me to apply for the university in my hometown, I don't know how many times in the past 14 years. At first I thought he was just joking. Maybe he was also telling me in disguise how good he was to me, how much he liked me, and how much he sacrificed for me. Later I realized that he was really regretful. So after we had a car accident, we were accidentally reborn together. On the day of filling out the college entrance examination application, he said without hesitation that he would follow me to stay in this city. We both knew that the other party had been reborn, but we tacitly did not interfere with each other. 44. 本一月这子扎木格米. Looking at his appearance at this moment, it was obvious that he was waiting for me on purpose. Seeing that I didn't say anything, he sarcastically said, now you finally know what it means to stay in. What a big development. Look at yourself, and then look at these old classmates, who is living a good life. But it's too late for you to regret, I'm already planning to marry Lydia. He took out a huge ring. The diamond is very big, about 5 carats. And the reason why I can tell at a glance is that it should be a little smaller. He said, if you hadn't been acting like that, this ring should belong to you. When Kevin and I got married in the last life, he wasn't as rich as he is now, so the ring he bought was very ordinary. At this moment, he showed off without any concealment. Then congratulations to you. I said indifferently. I walked directly in front of him. I felt Kevin's eyes behind me. I didn't know what he was unhappy about. The road was chosen by him, and the life was what he dreamed of in his last life. Could it be that he really has to see me regret it before he is happy? I sat back in my dining chair, and the phone suddenly rang. Looking at the incoming call, I answered, did you get off the plane? Yes, I'll be here soon. If you are tired, don't come. I will go back by myself later. How could I let my wife go to the class reunion by herself and go back by herself? I smiled and said nothing more. Just as I put down my phone, a man suddenly came over to me. Sonny, Lydia took the initiative to bring a glass of wine. Long time no see, I toast you, and I also want to thank you. Lydia said with a smile. Kevin said that if you hadn't been his study partner, his grades would not have been able to get into a 211 university. It's not a thank you, we just helped each other. Anyway, Kevin can achieve what he has now. 1 glass. He was about to pour beer into my glass. I don't drink. I refused and said, just drink a little. She poured me a glass of wine despite my objection. I pushed her with my hand. Ah! Lydia suddenly screamed. The beer spilled on her clothes and bag. She kept wiping it with a napkin. She couldn't even get water in her mouth. The other classmates also knew that the set she was wearing was very expensive. They looked at her nervously. Lydia wiped it for a long time and said to me, Sonny, even if you are jealous of me, you can't do this to me. You damaged my clothes and bag. Can you afford to pay for it? Before I opened my mouth, Kevin came over and scolded, Sonny, you are too much. I didn't mean it. I explained. It really wasn't intentional. And I didn't seem to push it just now. But for some reason, the beer poured out of the beer bottle in her hand and spilled on it. I just said that Lydia and I are getting married, and you broke your defense? Kevin ridiculed me in public. The classmates next to me couldn't help but talk about it. No way. I think Sonny is a very calm person, so he is not jealous of others, right? You can't judge a person by appearance. The more some people act indifferent, the more they care in their hearts. I heard that Sonny and Kevin were together, but later Kevin went to college in another city and broke up. Kevin left, right? I was really speechless, but I still patiently explained again. I don't drink. Lydia insisted on pouring me a drink, so the accident happened. I really thank you for accompanying Kevin to practice questions, and I hope you can let go of your obsession. Lydia said sincerely, I know you have been thinking about Kevin all the time. I was stunned. I looked at Lydia in confusion. How did you know that I was obsessed with Kevin? Did I say something that misunderstood me? Or was there something wrong with my expression and eyes today? Sonny, stop pretending. Lydia said firmly, Kevin is doing so well now, it is impossible for you not to feel sorry. I don't feel sorry. I said it clearly, word by word, I chose my own path, and I am very satisfied with my current life. Kevin sneered, didn't believe me at all, and I didn't want to explain. There is nothing to explain. We are unrelated people. Today's meeting is just an accident. If I had known Kevin would come, I might have avoided it. It's not that there is something I can't let go of, but there is no need to meet people from the previous life again. People from the previous life should stay in the past. I will compensate you for the clothes and bags. I didn't want to talk nonsense with them anymore, so I said, send me the price and your bank account number, and I will transfer it to you. Compensation? Kevin spoke directly, do you know how much Lydia's clothes and bags cost? Clothes are 150,000, bags are 300,000, not including matching goods, the cheapest one is 4 of you. What compensation? I took a deep breath. For Kevin's dog eyes, I told myself not to have a baby. The doctor said that pregnant women should keep a good mood. I'm not such a stingy person. Just give Lydia a good apology and that's it. You can't just apologize. Lydia quickly added, you have to apologize in front of all the TS, and be good to Kevin in the future. Hey. The doctor said pregnant women can't get angry, but they can't hold their breath. So, I slowly poured the half bottle of wine all over Lydia's clothes and bag. Lydia was frightened. She looked at me in disbelief, and said for a long time, "What?" At the same time, Kevin also protected Lydia behind him and pushed me. Fortunately, the squad leader behind me quickly protected me and stopped in front of me, fearing that Kevin would impulsively do something unmanageable. He persuaded, "Kevin, don't get excited. Sonny, I gave you face, didn't I?" Kevin said fiercely, "How dare you say that to Lydia? Who do you think you are? I don't need you to give me face, and I don't think of myself as someone else. I am who I am." I added coldly, "Since I answered it, it's my business. How I ruin it is none of your business. Can you afford it?" Kevin asked me fiercely, "Give me your bank account number." I said word by word, "Are you going to lose everything because of your anger? Sonny, you should have calmed down a long time ago, and we wouldn't be like this today. Give me your account number." I repeated again, "Kevin, stop talking nonsense to her." Lydia shouted at him, and she was about to explode. "Since she doesn't appreciate it, then give her the account number and see if she can afford to pay so much money." Kevin didn't hesitate anymore and said a string of numbers. I entered the bank account number and transferred the money directly. But the system reminded me that the password was wrong. I remember it was this password. After thinking about it, I entered another password. It still prompted an error. I pursed my lips. It's really a pregnancy that makes people stupid for 3 years. Suddenly I couldn't remember it. Kevin and Lydia were waiting on the side, and my classmates were also looking at me, watching such a good show. "See that I haven't transferred it out." Lydia laughed first. "Sonny, weren't you very proud just now? Where's the money?" Why didn't I see that Kevin's account had an extra penny? At this moment, Kevin's mobile phone was also in his hand, and there was no notification of the arrival of the money. "I forgot my password," I explained. I was afraid that if I entered the wrong password again, the account would be locked. What a good excuse. Lydia was extremely sarcastic. Kevin laughed contemptuously. The classmates around were also whispering. I thought Sunny really had to pay the money. I felt bad for her. Who is so stupid? 450,000, half a house. Originally, Kevin and Lydia didn't care, but Sunny insisted on doing it herself. "Now you are slapped in the face, right? You can't get off the stage, right?" Lydia asked me coldly, "So, are you going to write an IOU? How long will it take to pay it back? 1 year, 2 years, or a lifetime?" 10 minutes. I said bluntly. 10 minutes, how did Leo arrive? "Don't pretend, Sunny, you can't afford it at all." Lydia didn't want to waste time with me. "You could have just apologized verbally just now, but now, you have to kneel down and beg me." Everyone was laughing at me. Fortunately, the next moment, the door was suddenly pushed open, accompanied by a familiar voice, "Sorry, I'm late." Leo walked in. Everyone looked over there. He apologized, "The plane was delayed, I'm late." Then he walked straight to my side. He looked at the scene in front of him and found something strange. "What's wrong?" "A little misunderstanding." The monitor quickly tried to smooth things over, and said to Lydia and Kevin, "We are all classmates, there is no need to be so awkward, can you give me some face?" "Monitor, it's not that we don't give you face, it's Sunny who doesn't know what's good for you," Lydia said arrogantly. I didn't bother with her at first, but she insisted on pouring wine on me. No matter how much I don't care, she should give me an explanation, right? "Really?" Leo turned his head and looked at me, and there seemed to be a smile on the corner of his mouth. "You poured wine on others. Leo, I heard that you had a crush on Sunny when you were in school. I don't want to discredit her in front of you, but she is really too much. Just because she was jealous of me and Kevin being together, she deliberately picked on me and soiled my clothes and bag. Your family conditions have always been good, you should know the brand on me, right? Are you jealous of Lydia?" Leo asked me with a frown. "What do you think?" I asked him back. "There is nothing to be jealous of." Leo said to himself. Lydia was a little unhappy. "Leo, is it possible that after so many years, you still like Sunny?" "Yes, it has never changed," Leo admitted generously. Other classmates were very surprised. In fact, Leo pursued me for many years, but I never agreed. "Sunny, what do you want?" Kevin was a little upset. "Do you want me to kneel down and beg you? Admit that I still like you, admit that you are the only one I can have in my life." I looked at Kevin. What he said today overturned my perception of him. Kevin saw that I was suddenly silent, and his voice softened a lot. "Let's treat these 10 years as a dream and start over. I chose not to love you because I was angry with you." "How could it be out of anger?" I laughed ironically. "You just walked the path you wanted to walk, and finally found that you were not so happy, so you wanted to go back and start over." Kevin was very excited. It seemed that he was angry out of shame. He said, "When did I regret it? I have achieved what I have now. Do I still need to regret a word?" I said. "Lydia can't wait to give birth to a child for me immediately. What you think is really not important to me," I said calmly. From the moment you followed Lydia to study abroad, there was no relationship between us anymore. Sunny, stop pretending. You just can't accept that I left you. You just put aside your pride and come back with me. But I've given you a way out now. I really can't accept that you left Lydia without hesitation. After I was reborn, I felt lost. I didn't expect Kevin to make up his mind so quickly and do it so well. I thought he would hesitate a little bit after all the years of our relationship, but he didn't. I felt like a joke during that time. It was also from that moment that I let go of all my obsession with you. I looked at Kevin. If you hadn't suddenly appeared in front of me now, I wouldn't even remember you. Sunny. I don't care if you believe it or not, this is what I really think. I hope you won't appear in front of me again and disturb my happy, perfect and desirable life. I shook Kevin's hand fiercely and walked away without looking back. I thought I had said this. The relationship with Kevin was completely over. There will never be any intersection in the future. No matter how much we meet, we will only be strangers. But I didn't expect that half a month later, I received another message from Kevin, I'll never leave again. I was stunned. I clearly knew all the words above, but now I suddenly didn't understand what they meant. Can we meet? I turned off my phone and thought it was an illusion. But when I got off work, I saw Kevin standing at the door of the company waiting for me. After I got pregnant, Leo actually suggested that I stop working. But I felt that being alone at home was more boring and prone to prenatal depression, so I insisted, Sunny. Kevin held a large bouquet of flowers. I was really a little disgusted. Isn't what I said clear? I asked him. Didn't you want you to come back to me just by complaining about me? Now I have dealt with all his careers abroad. I will come back here with peace of mind and leave. Kevin promised. Do you really think that we have become like this? Otherwise, how could we drift apart when we love each other so much? We drifted apart because we both gave up on each other. I didn't give up on you. Kevin was very excited. I know you are doing well now, Leo treats you well, he is willing to stay with you in the city you like, he can give you excellent living conditions. But I can give you all these now. You know I am doing well, why do you still pester me? Because you really like me in your heart. Kevin was sure. You only chose to be with Leo because of my departure. Now I am back, you shouldn't go against your heart. I didn't laugh at Kevin's self-righteousness. After all, I really loved him back then, which made him have this. You know love will be disappointed and will disappear. Kevin's eyes were red. He probably didn't expect that I would really be so indifferent to him. So indifferent that he really couldn't feel any emotion from me. In my last life, I went with you to another place for development. You promised me that you would come home, but in the end you said you would never come back. I never questioned your pursuit of your career, and you did succeed. What made me angry was that you shouldn't have lied to me. From the moment you asked me to go with you to another place, you never thought about coming back, right? Kevin made excuses for himself. I was afraid that you wouldn't go with me. I really love you and I'm afraid of losing you. After rebirth, you went to another place with Lydia without thinking about it. Didn't you think about losing me? Kevin was speechless. He said painfully, I thought you loved me enough and would wait for me. I didn't expect you to be with another man. Because I was with another man, you couldn't accept it, so you came back to find me, right? Sunny, I really like you. Lydia and I were just a temporary novelty. The person I love from beginning to end is you. Kevin said affectionately. I felt more and more disgusted when I listened. You don't like Lydia, but you delayed someone else's youth for 10 years. You said you like me, but you insisted that I surrender to you. Now you find that everything is out of your control, you start to panic and regret. Don't you think your behavior is very dirty? I'm sorry. Kevin apologized suddenly. It seems that he doesn't know how to defend himself. Sorry, Sunny, can you forgive me this time? I will never let you down again. Kevin took out the ring from his arms. He said, Sunny, do you still remember this ring? When we got married, we didn't buy it because of insufficient budget, but I promised you that I would definitely give it to you. I came back this time, in fact, I wanted to get back together with you, and this ring was also bought for you. Do you know why Lydia targeted you so much at the class reunion? Because she knew that I wanted to get back together with you. I laughed when I heard it. It turned out that he wanted to get back together with me at the class reunion. But his way of getting back together was not to be nice to me actively, but to show me power. Let me go back and beg him with a shameless face. I didn't want to say more, but looking at this ring, I couldn't help but say, I remember that in the last life, you didn't give it to me even though you had money. I was too busy in the last life. No, it's only after you lost it that you thought of cherishing it. Even if it's my fault, it's all my fault, Sunny, can you give me another chance? Marry me and we'll start over. This time, I'll give you everything you want. Said. Kevin knelt down at the company gate and proposed to me. I probably loved him too much in the last life, which made him so confident that as long as he looked back, we would be back to square one with him. I shook my head and refused coldly, there's no chance. Sunny, I really gave up the development of the big city for you. That was your choice, and it had nothing to do with me. I interrupted him. And I've said it before, the city is not the main reason for our separation, it's your actions that have disappointed me time and time again. I will change. You won't change, everything you do has a purpose. I don't need to show him mercy. You know I loved you very much, so you can use my feelings to deceive me unscrupulously. You know even if I find out in the end, I will forgive you. You bought the ring not because I like it, but because you want to keep me in this way. Because you found that I don't really care about you anymore. You choose to stay now, not for me, but because your parents are old. And your mother suddenly fell ill, they need you to come back to take care of them. And Lydia won't stay with you here, so you thought of me. I said it very calmly. I even laughed. Because I found that I really didn't care at all. Even if I knew that all Kevin's motives were impure, there would be no emotional fluctuations. I watched Leo walk to my side not far away. I knew he was waiting for me. He respected all my decisions. He also has enough confidence. Kevin can't even compare to him because of his kindness to me. Wife, can we go now? Leo asked me, hugging my body. I nodded. I didn't even look at Kevin again. We turned and left. I decided to stay because of you, not Lydia or my parents. Kevin said loudly behind us. I stopped. Even if there are no so-called purposes, I can't be with you again. Kevin, I don't love you anymore, I just don't love you anymore. Really, I can't remember the good times with Kevin at all. The happiness I see now. All is given by Leo. After that, I never gave Kevin any chance to get close to me. I blocked his mobile phone number and refused to answer all strange numbers. I resigned. Originally, Leo felt sorry for me working outside, saying that he could support me and was really afraid that I would be bored at home and go to his company. I refused before because I didn't want to be too dependent on him. Now, I deeply feel that we are a family. A few months later, I gave birth to a daughter. Half a year later, Leo and I held a grand wedding. Many old classmates were invited. Of course, Kevin was not included. When Leo and I went to toast at the classmates' table, we heard a classmate say, Kevin hasn't been out of town for more than a year. I heard that he and Lydia broke up. Kevin's mother passed away a few days ago. Another classmate said, fortunately, Kevin stayed at home with her for more than a year. Otherwise, how could I feel at ease? I went to the funeral a few days ago. Kevin looked very different. He was not as radiant as he was at our class reunion last year. He looked lifeless. It is said that when his mother passed away, the biggest regret was that he didn't have a grandson. Could it be that Kevin has been obsessed with Lydia? No. A female classmate whispered. Lydia was willing to stay in her hometown for Kevin, and took the initiative to ask Kevin for peace. But was rejected by Kevin. Lydia said Kevin could not forget. She looked at me and did not finish her words. I knew it was not appropriate to say such words in such an occasion. I pretended not to hear it, and drank my wedding wine and greeted the guests calmly. After the wedding, Leo and I returned home tiredly. I was too tired to move. Leo was sorting out the gifts we received. Then he suddenly called me, Sonny, there is a private red envelope for you. Huh? Leo gave it to me. I saw the name Kevin on the red envelope. I did not see him today. I looked at Leo. Leo smiled and said, I didn't see it either. I opened the red envelope and saw a ring inside. There was also a letter and a gift of about 8,888 yuan. I opened the letter. 15 Sonny, happy wedding. I know you don't want to see me, but I still can't help but come to your wedding. I shouldn't let you find out. I just want to see you and see if you are really happy. Then I will probably give up. I will probably really face the reality. You really don't love me anymore. Not at all. I still arrogantly think that as long as I look back, you will wait for me there. You are right. My departure during rebirth was not just to be angry with you. I always thought that without you, I and anyone else can be happy, and I can still live well. In the past few years, I did enjoy unprecedented freedom. I didn't have to consider your mood. I didn't have to be forced to eat breakfast by you. I didn't have to be scolded by you for coming back drunk from socializing. And I didn't have to be nagging you to go back to my hometown every day. But suddenly one day, I began to miss you. I miss the food you cook. I miss you sitting in the living room waiting for me no matter how late I come home from socializing. I miss you holding me tightly in your arms. I missed you for a long time. But I never came to see you. I stubbornly believed that you should be the one to give in between us. Because your choice was wrong. Until, I finally couldn't stand it anymore. I wanted to be with you so badly that I even often called Lydia your name. So, I came back and attended the class reunion. When I saw you dressed in a simple outfit, I naively thought I had won. You are having such a hard time, and I asked you to come back to me now, you would definitely not refuse. But reality slapped me in the face. The way you looked at me, there was no love at all. I thought I could use money to suppress you. But I didn't expect that you married Leo and you were pregnant. You not only have no shortage of money, but also love. I started to panic, and I didn't know what to do to get you back to me. I kept telling myself that you only chose Leo because you were angry with me. The person you love is me. You loved me so much in your last life, it's impossible for you to say you don't love me anymore. So I came to you with a thick face. I think I have a chance of winning. I can give you everything that Leo can give you, and you love me more, and you will be moved by me. Now I think about it, I really humiliated myself. Why did I abandon you and still think that you would wait for me there? I am really selfish and dark. Look. Until this moment, I still want to tell you that giving up life in the big city is really for you. Not for my parents, although I am very fortunate that I was with my mother during her last time. I know that no matter what I say, it is useless. I am just really sad. Sunny, my heart really hurts. I went to the hospital to see you on the day you gave birth. I saw Leo holding your child, and I saw the joy of being a father on his face, and I thought of the unborn child in our last life. I used to really look forward to his arrival, and I was ready to be a father. But it can happen again. But I missed it. I looked at the letter helplessly, with mixed feelings. Kevin's current mood is probably the same as when I was reborn and saw Kevin leave without looking back, even though I always tell myself to respect the other person's choice. But in the dead of night, I will still break down, feel unwilling, painful, and difficult, but now, it's all over. I don't know how long it will take Kevin to get over it. Really, it doesn't matter anymore. I threw the letter into the trash can. I didn't see the text on the back of the envelope. Sunny, I will be waiting for you outside your wedding room tonight. Leo looked at my actions and smiled at me from the side. He said, wife, a spring night is worth 1,000 gold. We turned off the lights. In the long night, I will never be alone again.